Good morning to all. So, yesterday we are started, that is a speciation process. So, that was the concept of a species and a speciation. So, that was mainly by the Dobzhansky, and he was also made so another exam that was by the another scientists are also there. Those are the Darwin and the Mendelian genetics are also based upon these, and the Mayer was another scientists are also there for the explaining of such type of these that was evolution process. So, till now, so now we are completed, that is the types of speciation process. What are the types are there? So, today's our topic, we are going to discuss about the types of speciation. The types of speciation. So, in these what happens is those are allopatric speciation and sympatric speciation. So, the allopatric speciation, say this. So, first it is a population and the area, and the population was divided geographically, say this, and that was a barrier is formed in the middle of two populations. So, such populations are completely divided, and so see this, that was a completely divided into two, so it was a new population. It was a new population, and these are their ancestors. These are the ancestors, see this. So, the allopatric speciation with the example, that is in diagrammatic form. So, with the help of the images. So, it is a complete the area of allopatric, it is a population, a group of species, a group of population is presented. So, any of the reasons we are already discussed, that is the uplifting of tectonic plates and the movement of the glaciers or leads to cause the separation of the geographical regions. So, the barriers are formed in the middle of the geographical regions. So, that is why the animal fauna was got separated from the one area to the another area. So, same area, same group of population got separated by the these some of the reasons, see here. So, it is a same population, group of population is presented here. So, gradually what happened? So, those are geographically isolated, means, so those single area was divided into the two areas. One area was going to be divided into the two areas. So, then what happens? A group of individuals are actually presented here, but what happens? Those group of individuals are also got separated. Those group of same species are got separated, and a barrier is formed in the middle of these two. A barrier is formed. A barrier means that was going to be complete separation is formed in the middle of the two different areas. So, such areas are completely variated, are completely separated from each other with the help of these barrier. So, those organisms may not be crossed this barrier to enter into the another area. So, that is why that is a barrier that should be presented in the middle of the two different areas. The barrier is formed, then what happens? See this. So, completely two different areas are completely separated, see here. So, it is a older population, and their ancestor organisms are there, and the separated organisms are developed a new population. The separated organisms are converted to a new population. It is also comes under the genetic drift. Why? Because so a group of individuals are got separated by the geographically, then the separated organisms are developed a new population area. So, that was completely developed into a new organisms. Now, those organisms are not so going to combine with their ancestor, and they can make some of the variations from their ancestor. More the variations are occurred in the middle of those two organisms. Why? Because those are gradually geographically separated. By that reason, So, this area, their ancestors area, the climatic conditions are separate, and here the new population climatic conditions are separate. By that reason, so they may cause a great impact their habitats, that is food habitats are also so that was variated. Due to those reasons, such organisms are converted to a new population was finally developed. So, it is mainly considered and called here as a allopathic speciation. And next, the sympatric speciation. So, it is a common population. The changes are occurred in the middle of same population within the range, within the population. So, the isolation process was the variations are occurred within the population. So, now what happens? Completely the variated population should be resembled like this. So, it is the sympatric. Sympatric means within the range, within the population. Allopathic means, so that was some distance. Allopathic means, so that was a distance. So, sympatric. So, till now we are completed the allopathic speciation. So, in the allopathic speciation you are already observed what are the differences in the middle of these two. So, those differences are nothing but so such differences are nothing but here. So, what happens is sympatric speciation means within the population, a group of population, a group of species, common species are there. So, but any other reasons. So, those are the natural hazards are occurred, the tsunamis or any other floods or earthquakes are occurred sometimes in an ecosystem. Then what happens? A group of individuals are got separated. A group of individuals in the same area got separated and entered into the, those are so some variation means so one area to the another area, those got separated, and in the middle of those two areas a barrier is formed gradually in the middle of those two areas, that is one state to the another state, one district to the another district. So, these are mainly occur due to the natural hazards. The floods are occurred one area. So, those area organisms are completely, so those are some of the organisms are died and the remaining organisms are moved away from that area, and those are entered into the and some other new areas, and so they are completely nearby their areas. Then what happens? Some of the organisms are remained there. Those are considered here, those are the ancestors. Those ancestors and their population, that was a separate population, was converted to a new population is developed within the range. A new population is developed within the range. But in allopathic speciation, that is completely vary. So, one country to the another country. So, those are mainly formed due to the uplifting of the tectonic plates and the glacier movements. These are the continents are moved. By that reason, the larger geographical areas are got separated. One country to the another country, the organisms are got separated. That is a completely vary from the sympatric population. That is a completely different from the sympatric population. So, these populations are completely got separated from the one area to the another area. So, due to this what happens is so some of the areas the population or so sympatric is within the range, but allopathic is completely geographically. So, those are separated by the, so that was completely long distances. The organisms are separated within the long distances and the sympatric within the range, within the population. So, that is the main variation between the allopathic and the sympatric speciation. See this, within the range the population got separated. So, and so those are completely converted to another new population. So, due to these reasons, so what happens is a new population was developed, a new organisms are developed due to these allopathic and sympatric speciation. It is mainly the concept of species, and the speciation is over. And next, So, it is the last and final topic in your last and final unit, that is the causes of extinction of evolution. The remaining topic, that is only one topic is left, that is till now we are going to discuss about the causes of extinction of evolution. So, these are causes of extinction of evolution. So, we already discussed in previous classes, that is endangered fauna and extincted organisms. So, dinosaurs you know very well. The dinosaurs were already extincted. Those population was now no more. So, due to some other reasons, those organisms are completely extincted from our environment. So, the extinction. So, how the extinction made a great impact on the evolution. How it may cause the effect on the evolution. So, what happens due to the extinction of the organisms? That is our today's topic, causes of extinction. So, what are the reasons for extinction, and what is that made the impact on the evolution? So, what are the causes of extinction? How the organisms are going to be extincted? So, why they are extincted? So, you know very well, two organisms are in a population in an ecosystem. A small area, two organisms are there. One organism was very stronger than the other organism for the scarcity of the food material. So, two organisms are 10 organisms in a population. So, the area may contain some less amount of the food sources and the less amount of the shelter. So, that was climatic conditions are also not available to the particular organism. Then what happens is the competition was developed at that area for the food material, for the shelter. Then what happens is so only some of the organisms, the dominated organisms are only survived, and the remaining organisms are completely removed away from that area. So, then what happens? So, those remaining organisms are completely extincted. Gradually, those are completely extincted. So, their genetic diversity. So, these are also called as genetic diversity. Genetic diversity. So, those are structure of genes. So, in an organism are completely got differentiated. By that reason, that particular organism was going to be extincted. That particular organism was completely going to be extincted. So, it is a reason for, one of the reason for extinction. So, and another reasons are also there. Genetic diversity is one reason, and another reasons, that is a loss of habitat and diseases, loss of habitat, diseases, genetic diversity and pollution, competition, and prey predation. So, these are some reasons. So, what happens is a loss of habitat. So, first genetic diversity is over, and a loss of habitat means the organisms are adapted to that particular their living areas. Those are make some of the adaptations to living that particular area. The fishes are completely permitted for the water. So, those made some of the adaptations to living inside the water, and the whales are the belongs to phylum mammals. Hence, those are completely adapted to live inside the water. Some of the adaptations, so those are mainly contain the blubber. So, that is a fatty layer that was acts as an insulator to protect the temperature inside the body. Actually, inside the water the temperature is low, but the mammals or the warm blooded animals, if the temperature is lost, the organism was going to be die. To overcome that problem, the insulator, that is a fatty layer is presented, that is a blubber, that was used to protect the inside the body temperature. That was key balancing of temperature was occur. And some of the adaptations, their eye regions may that was eyes are covered by the nictitating membrane, and some other reasons. So, those are the adaptations are completely lived inside the water. So, when we made to completely remove that particular organism from the water, then what happens? So, that organism was going to be die. So, gradually, so we can do that process continuously. So, we can able to remove that particular population from the water media. So, continuously, then frequently, then what happens? So, gradually the population of the whale population was completely going to be extincted. There is no more organisms. so on the air and inside the water, and the fish population was completely lived inside the water, and the human beings are completely on the terrestrial region. So the human beings are entered into the water, so we dipped one organism human being into the water, then immediately, so those human beings are survived up to some amount of the up to the some seconds of the time only. So otherwise those organisms are also going to be die. So why? Because we are, the human beings are completely lived on the surface of the, that is on the terrestrial region. We can able to, so made some of the adaptations or lived inside the water. We are able to adapted to live on the terrestrial region only, and some of the birds are only permitted and lived inside the some of the forest area, some of the trees. So some tree was going to accommodate some of the birds. So we can remove that, gradually we remove that particular tree from that area, then what happens? Those bird population was greatly reduced at that area. Why? Because those are made the adaptation to live that particular tree. So we can remove the tree, what happens? Those organisms number was gradually decreased, and finally those organism was going to be extincted. So deforestation is now within, so nowadays deforestation, removing the forest area was going to be one of the reason for removing of almost all the organism that may cause the great impact on the that was the removing of extinction of the most of the organism, that leads to cause the endangered fauna. Most of the organisms are endangered, threatened condition nowadays. So the reasons are nothing but the deforestation, removing of the forest area. So the forest area give the accommodation to the different types of the organism, some of the insects, some of the amphibians, and some of the reptile organisms, and some of the so those are the birds and mammals. So like the lion and the deer population, bear population, so the tiger population and the fox population, different types of the organisms are lived inside the forest area. So the deforestation was gradually occurred, then what happened? Those population was gradually decreased. Why? Because those are adapted to live at that particular forest area, but not in the in our houses. So those are not lived inside our houses. Why? Because those are not having any adaptations to live that particular area. This living area is completely the forest area. Those are completely adapted to live inside the, so those are forest area only. So the deforestation is one of the reason to extinction, that is that leads to cause the extinction of the population. So those are the one of the reasons for the extinction of the population. The deforestation, that is may comes under loss of their habitat. It is also one of the reason for extinction of the population. And the diseases, you know very well. So the corona, we already so regard from the great hazard, that is comes under the great hazard like that. Why? Because the corona may suffered total, the world was suffered from these diseases, that is by the effect of the virus corona. So the great number of population was so the more number of the human beings are completely passed away from that particular area. Number of the population, number of the human beings population was reduced by the effect of these, the corona disease. So that such type of diseases are used to remove the, are used to decrease the population. Some of the diseases, so that some of the that was a bird flu was to the chickens. So those organisms are completely going to be die. So by the disease, those population was greatly reduced. Some other reasons, and in this way the anthrax, the sheep. So the sheep population was greatly reduced. The diseases are occurred. The diseases are the one of the causes to reduce the population. Those are leads to reduce the, greatly reduce the population from our environment. So that is that the diseases is also one of the cause for the extinction of the organisms. And the pollution, you know very well, the pollution is a major cause for extinction of the each and every organism today. So the deforestation and the global warming was increased day to day. So by that reason, what happens is the sea level was increased, and the snow level was going to be melted. Due to that reason, sea levels are increased. So the ozone layer was greatly caused, the layer affected. By that reason, the UV rays are directly enter to our so completely to the terrestrial region and directly to the land. So the people are directly exposed to sun rays, the UV rays. By that reason, so the UV rays may cause the radiation effect. So due to this reason, this is also one of the cause. The pollution is also one of the cause for the extinction of the population. So if the population was extincted, then that may cause a great impact on the evolution. The evolution is nothing but development of the new organisms, changing the population from their ancestors to the young population, from their older population to the new population. So, but here the extinction was caused a great impact on the evolution. So, the pollution, it was we already discussed in the previous class how the pollution was occurred, what are the causes for pollution, different types of the causes, different types of the pollutions are there. So, those are the water pollution, soil pollution, air pollution. So, those are harmful substances, those toxic substances which are entered, accumulated into the each and every organism, plant level to the organism level, that is the producer level to the consumer level. So, by that reason, those toxic substances and the usage of the more of the plastics, so those plasterine also going to be damaged, and that may lead to cause the cancerous. So, most of the people are going to be affect the cancer, different types of the diseases, and these all are leads to cause the extinction of the organism. The pollution is one of the cause for removing of the population, a group of population, a group of species from from the environment. So, these are the reasons. So, the loss of habitat, genetic diversity, the diseases, pollution, and the competition and the predation. So, first we are started, that is the topic with the competition. What is mean by competition? The competition is one of the reason. The competition is also one of the reason. That was mainly the scarcity of the food material for the shelter. Some other reasons what happens is the competition was occurred in the middle of the two different organisms. Then what happens is the dominated and the very strongest organism only survived, the remaining organism was going to be die, that was removed from that particular area. So, that was far away from that area. By that reason, what happens, only one of the dominated organisms are only remained at that area. The remaining organism population was greatly reduced at that area. So, this is also one of the reason, that is nothing but the competition. The competition is also one of the major reason today for the extinction of the organisms. So, that is the competition mainly occurred due to the scarcity of the food material for the purpose of the shelter. So, due to some other reasons, so in the middle of the two different organisms, say a group of organisms, the competition takes place. So, then what happens is so the space, the shelter was not going to be equally shared by the each and every organism. So, at that area, by that reason, the competition was raised. So, only some of the organisms are only remained at that area. And the predation, prey and predation, you know very well. The predators are the wild the organisms, those are going to kill their prey, and so they consume their food material. So, they completely kill their prey and consume the food material. So, by that reason, the predators are increased at that area. Then what happened? The prey organisms are completely going to be removed that particular organism, a particular area. So, that is also cause a great impact on the evolution. Such prey organisms are going to be die, and those are completely gradually, so those are removed from that particular area. That is also one of the reason for causing of the extinction, means the organisms are going to be extincted from that area. That is also one of the reason. That is nothing but the predation, prey, predation. So, the predatory organisms. So, these are predatory organisms. So, those are completely the predation, the predators or the organisms. So, those are going to kill their prey. So, by that reason, the predators population was increased than their food material organisms or the prey organisms are removed that from that particular area. So, what are the extinction? So, some of the organisms are completely extincted, the mammoth like birds are extincted, such different types of the birds, such different types of the mammal population was already extincted, and some of the organisms are in endangered condition, in threatened condition, those are going to be extincted. So, their population was greatly reduced in our areas, in our total worldwide. Some of the organisms are not no more, only so those are remained in the form of the fossils. The extincted organisms are remained in the form of that was in the fossils, means their remembrance or represented, those are only presented in the form of the fossils. So, but those organisms are now not presented, those are completely extincted. So, if the population was most of the population are extincted, then that may cause a great impact on the evolution. The evolution is nothing but the formation of new organisms. The development of the new organisms, that is nothing but the formation of the new organisms, that is evolution. So, a group of population, a group of species, a new species are developed from their ancestors. But here the extinction was, it may cause a great impact on the evolution. So, that was the development of the new species was reduced. If the extinction level are increased in a population, then what happened? There is no formation, there is no new species formation was not continued. The evolution was not occurred. The evolution was completely going to be, that was also going to be decreased day to day. The evolution process was also going to be reduced, that was also going to be so that was decreased. So, these are the causes for the causes of extinction in of the evolution. These are the total topics which are involved inside evolution. So, those are completely, so the origin of modern synthetic theory, Lamarckism, neo-Lamarckism, Darwinism, neo-Darwinism, and the so those forces of evolution, Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, and remaining so those are pre-mating isolation is there, post-mating isolation is there. So, these are the topics which are the causes of extinction, and so these are the speciation, types of speciation. These are the total topics involved and included in your complete 4th unit. It was totally over. So, those topics are completely over. Till now we are totally completed. That was so ecology, geography and evolution topics are completed now. So, only the important questions are left. So, I am going to give you the important, what are the important questions, how you prepare, how to prepare for the final examination, what are the important questions from these 4 units. So, from that onwards, that is ecology, what are the topics are involved inside the ecology, and what are for geography and what are for evolution. Totally 2 units are comes under the ecology, only 1 unit for geography and 1 unit for evolution. So, those are completely I am going to tell you. So, what are the important questions, how you prepare, how do you prepare for these for your final examination point of view. So, I am going to tell you what are the important questions. So, the ecology and ecology onwards the evolution. So, what are the important topics are left. So, that was completely comes under your syllabus, and this is about the your last topic of your syllabus, and so all should write the record books, your record books. So, practical record books. So, before that so you also gather the information about the these evolution and geography topics. So, those are last and final topics. It is extinction and the cause of evolution. So, for the it may how it may cause a great impact on the evolution. It was totally over. So, it is today's topic, it is completed. We will meet tomorrow. So, it is your today's topic, it's over, we will meet tomorrow. Thank you.